Following the Seven Years' War, the British were heavily in debt. As a result, the British imposed numerous acts upon the various colonies to pay for this debt. Numerous acts like the Stamp Act, the Townshend Acts, and much more imposed harsh regimes on the colonists. This resulted in the colonists becoming angry and taking out that anger on the British soldiers and the Loyalists living in the New World. The most common form of torture that was utilized was the practice of tar and feathering, which was not only painful but embarrassing. These practices were used on people who either were in or supported the Loyalist Party. Accurate depictions of these methods are seen in many images, the most iconic one being the tar and feathering of John Malcolm, which accurately portrays the colonists as terrorists, terrorizing their British counterpart. Other events, such as the Boston Massacre, increased the tensions between the two groups even further. The massacre, which colonists say was instigated by the British soldiers, gave the colonists even more of a reason to rebel against their British rulers. As a result of the massacre, 5 colonists were killed, while several others were injured. However, no British soldiers were hurt. This infuriated the colonists to a point of no return. Another example of acts of violence and terrorism occurred on August 26, 1765, when the house of Thomas Hutchinson, an avid Loyalist, was destroyed by the Sons of Liberty. Hutchinson, who was a lieutenant governor of the Massachusetts Bay Colony, was then forced to flee out of fear for his and his family's life. Fleeing, he said, was heartbreaking, since he considered the Bay Colony his true home, not Britain. Cases like these, however, were frequent among the colonies. Slaves were also a part of the Loyalist Party. Following the Dunmore Proclamation, which promised slaves freedom if they joined the Loyalist Army, many slaves escaped to British lines. However, those who tried to escape but failed were subjected to harsh punishment. The Sons of Liberty, which contained famous members such as Sam Adams and Paul Revere, committed numerous rebellious acts. These acts, they said, were committed in order to protect the rights of the colonists. Not only did they rebel, they also abolished or threatened to kill anyone who supported the Loyalist regime. However, their most recognized rebellious act being the Boston Tea Party. When the Tea Act was passed in May 10th of 1773, the colonists felt that this was in violation of their right of no taxation without representation. The colonists also opposed the act because they felt that it validated the Townshend Act's tax on tea, which was extremely harsh on the colonists. So on December 16th, 1773, in Boston, Massachusetts, the Sons of Liberty responded by dumping countless chests of British tea into the Boston harbor. Boston was not the only city to reject the tea. Philadelphia, New York, and Charleston demanded the return of the tea back to Britain. All of the acts committed by the colonists against the Loyalists can be considered terroristic. However, the collection of all the acts was for one purpose: independence.